Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May I take your order? Moving up next in topic 8 is displaying data in box plots. And so we're going to take what we learned in section 8.2 about mean, median, mode, and range, and we're going to start to apply some of that information and actually draw and interpret that data through a graph called a box plot. So here's just some quick vocabulary for you, right? A box plot is a diagram that shows the distribution of data using the median, quartiles, minimum value, and maximum value on a number line. Some of those words might not mean anything to you yet, but we're going to get into that. If you are following along in your notes, make sure you highlight this. Right? If it's highlighted on the board, it should be highlighted in your notes. You'll notice this picture down here in the bottom right-hand corner. This graph is talking about bags of donated clothing, and then it measures how many pounds of clothing were in each bag. Right? You can see here on this graph, right? It literally is a box kind of showing you some information, and then it's got these kind of whisker-like things sort of poking out each side, right? You might hear this referred to as a box and whisker plot. And so essentially what we're going to learn today is A, how to draw this and construct this, and then B, what information can we pull from this graph? So here are some of those words that we saw on the previous screen, right? The first one is quartiles. Right? Quartiles are values that divide the data into 4 equal parts. So you'll notice here, right, if you kind of draw some vertical lines on our box plot, you will notice 1, 2, 3, 4 sections divided into the data. Now visually it does not look like these are divided into 4 equal parts. However, what we know is that in between each of these blue lines, 25% of our data points fall there. And so because not all data sets are completely equally divided, like, not every data set is going to just be 1, 2, 3, 4, it's not necessarily going to look spaced out appropriately. However, if we have a high median, if we have a high middle value, right, that's going to pull our data, as you see in this one, a little bit higher onto our graph. So those are quartiles, right, divided into 4 equal sections. So whenever we're doing this, the first step, just like when we find the median, is going to be to order our numbers from least to greatest. Okay. I'm going to talk about the next 3 points out of order, and I'm going to highlight the one I'm going to start with, right? And the second quartile is the median of the overall data. So you'll see this line right here in the middle. That is your median. Notice that there are now 1, 2 quartiles above, 1, 2 quartiles below. Okay. The first quartile, which I will draw in red, is the median of the lower half of your data. Right? So we've got all of our numbers in order from least to greatest. We found the median in blue. That's the middle of our data. And then from the lower 50%, we found the median again. That's the first quartile, this red line. And then the green line, the third quartile, is the median of the higher half. Right. And if some of this still isn't making sense, you're going to see a visual representation in the next slide. So please just bear with me until we get to those examples. The other two the other 2 lines drawn on here, right? We've got this one down here. That is the minimum value. Right? So the lowest amount of pounds per bag of clothing donated was 8 pounds. And then lastly, this upper line here, right, that's the maximum value. Yellow was a poor choice. So it's a yellow line, but we're going to have black text. Right? That is the maximum value. Right? So the highest amount of clothing donated was 20 pounds in a single bag. Right? If you'd like to discuss any of these vocabulary words, please pause this video right now, come and find me, and I'd love to kind of talk through them a little more with you. Okay. Right. So when we look at a box plot, we're really looking for 5 values here. And I kind of went over them a little bit in the last slide. I want to hit them one more time quickly, right? The minimum value, right? The lowest value is the far most left point, right? The maximum value, right, the high value is the highest point, right? A lot of technical difficulties this morning. Maybe I should have had a coffee. Maybe the computer needs a coffee, right? Who remembers using the high value and the low value? What other statistic can you measure? If you said range, you were absolutely correct. Okay. The second quartile, or the median, right, that's your 50% mark. So half of the data will be higher than that, half of the data will be lower than that. Right. The first quartile, right, you'd have the lowest 25% to the left, right, and then you'd have kind of the low, middle 25%. And then finally, right, the third quartile here, and again, you'd have the highest 25% and the really teeny tiny space here, we'd have the high, middle 25%. All right. Again, come and see me if this isn't making sense yet. So here we go. We're going to construct a 5-number summary and then make a box plot. So Darsh wants to display the lengths of 11 fish he caught last year so he can compare their lengths. Find the 5-number summary, then make a box plot. First thing we need to do is put these numbers in order from least to greatest. So I invite you to pause the video, put these numbers in order from least to greatest. All right, I've got my numbers ordered from least to greatest. You'll also see on the left of the screen, I went ahead and labeled out parts for our 5-number summary. All right, I'm going to fill some of them in right away. Right, once I get my data ordered, I can immediately see these are lengths, not weights. I can immediately see the lowest number, the minimum value, and as well as the highest number, the highest value. Now I go about finding the median. And so I'm going to find the median by crossing out my numbers from low to high, back and forth, until I end up at a median. You'll notice, even numbered data set, we have to take the exact middle between those two numbers. So halfway between 12 and 13 would be 12 and a half. All right. Everything we've done so far should be pretty straightforward. So our median is right there in between those numbers. Now, to find the first quartile, you take the median of this lower half. So the first quartile is going to come from down here. So we're going to find the median of this lower half of data. So again, I go low and high until I end up with a median from the lower half. That's the first quartile. Similarly, third quartile, I'm going to find the median from the upper half. So I go low, high, until I come up with the median of the upper half. That is my third quartile. So if you can find a median in a set of data, you can find all 5 of these things. And then we're going to construct a box plot. So you're going to need to draw a plot, right? You're going to want to label, right, with a name, length of fish. I'm going to start my plot at 5. We're going to need to extend it. I might run out of room. Sure am. Didn't plan this well. We're going to pretend that that goes all the way to 22. Didn't plan that very well. All right, so to make a box and whisker plot, I know that my minimum is going to be down here at 7. I know my maximum is going to be all the way down here at our pretend 22. I appreciate the grace everybody is giving me. Okay. Our first quartile is going to be at 12, and I am going to draw these in the colors we've been talking about. You don't have to. You can use a single color. Right? Our first quartile is at 12. Our third quartile is at 15. And our median is at 12.5, so kind of right here in the middle. And then you just kind of connect everything. So we draw our whiskers in. I connect. Remember how Mr. Ekman always tells you that he's not an artist? Well, today is no different, friends. All right, then we connect everything in, and we draw that out. So, again, you can kind of see here that my minimum value is represented down here. My maximum value is represented down here, right? You can tell that the median is here, and my first and third quartiles are represented there. Again, if this didn't make sense to you, you should pause and come and see me. If it is, feel free to go to the next slide, where I would like you to pause and try this as much as possible. So we're given the age of 12 volunteers participating in a beach cleanup. Right? I've ordered them from least to greatest. I'm going to find the 5-number summary. The lowest age, the youngest person is 9. The oldest person volunteering today is 27. Right? The second quartile, the median, we're finding the middle value by going low to high. And it's going to be halfway between 15 and 18. The median age today is 18. Excuse me, 15 and 21. And so now we're going to find that first quartile, right? If this is the middle section, we're going to find the median of the lower half. So we find we're going to have a median halfway between 9 and 15. So the first quartile here is 12 years old. The third quartile, the median of the upper half of the data. Right, the median of the upper half of the data is 21 years old. Okay. I would invite you to pause the screen again and create a box plot. As you can see, we've got our box plot here, the age of our volunteers. We've got our minimum value represented down here at our youngest person is 9. Our maximum value, our oldest person, is 27. The red line represents the first quartile, 12. The blue line represents the median, the second quartile at 18. The green line represents the third quartile at 21. We can also pull out important information from a given box plot. So this box plot shows the distribution of weights in pounds of bags of donated clothing, right, all the way back from the first slides. So what information can you pull from this box plot? I want you to find the 5-number summary. I would invite you to pause and try this on your own. All right. Right. You'll notice that the lowest bag of clothing was 8 pounds. The heaviest bag of clothing was 20 pounds. and then labeled on the graph are your first quartile, second quartile, and third quartile. Right? So this helps to give you a picture of what people were donating in this particular situation. All right. Your next steps would be to log on and complete the 8.3 Practice Buddy. This was a longer video. I do apologize for that. Lots of information packed in there. If you have any questions, please come and see me. Otherwise, have a great day.